Good morning, everybody, and welcome to week 12. It is Monday, November 8th. As of this moment, I am reading through essay number 2. My hope is to have those back to you by the end of this week. So we'll see how far we get. As you know, Thursday is a holiday, so there's no school on that day. That might put me back a day or two, but my hope is to try to get those essays back to you by the end of the week. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, week 12 really is all about working on essay number 3. So let's take a look and see what your week looks like. As I mentioned last week in Unit 3, week to week, there's a lot of flexibility, but there's the same pattern. You have an array of different readings to choose from. You read one or more, write your discussion board where you kind of talk about what you read. Write a discussion board where you're kind of moving through your essay progress, questions and concerns and wonderings. You can respond to each other, but it's optional. And then you have your writing territory. This week, you have an added bonus of an extra credit opportunity. So I would encourage you to take advantage of that. Let's go ahead and dive in, though. As always, I posted the essay number 3 assignment here so that way you could see and kind of be reminded of what needs to be included in essay number 3. And then the readings for this week. And again, all of these readings relate in one way or another to kind of not just the idea of democracy, but kind of the division in democracy that we're seeing happen now. And so this particular article by Scotty Hendricks I really like because his argument is that this division is not a new thing. This division has been part of our country's history. And so it's interesting to kind of think about it in those terms. I really like the online version because of the color maps that he includes that I thought makes it really interesting. The second reading is, again, kind of asking the bigger question of, is America really divided? Or is that just something that we have kind of contrived to kind of make sense of what's going on? Yeah, so this too is an interesting article. And again, you can agree, you can disagree, you can decide, ooh, I would like to use this in my essay, or you could think, I do not want to use this in my essay. Either way, the idea is that these readings will get you thinking and get you wondering and get you curious about where we are as a society and what you think. You know, do you think that we're divided? Do you think that we're united? What are your opinions about what's going on? And you don't necessarily have to be politically minded, right? I've had students say, well, Ms. Miller, I'm not political. Okay, that's great, but you live here, right? And you need to be part of this process. And so part of the goal of this essay is to kind of begin to help you ask questions about that process and like what it means to be a citizen, what's required of you, and what you think is required of yourself, right? So, sorry, got on my little soapbox there. Okay, reading 3.8 by Pierre. There's a couple of articles by him in this series. The first is Why Has America Become So Divided? You might notice that all 3 of these articles so far for this week have similar titles. They do. Obviously because they're talking about something similar, but all of these authors have really different takes on that question. Reading 3.9 is one of those interactive websites. It's sponsored by an organization called Hidden Tribes. And what I would recommend you do is start by taking the quiz. And the quiz will kind of put you into a particular political type, and then will kind of get you thinking and ask you questions about that type and kind of how that type interacts with others. I thought it was really interesting. And again, you can kind of make your quiz results known if you want to. You can keep them personal. It's just an interesting way to kind of think about, again, to think about who we are as citizens in this democracy. So reading 3.9 is less of a reading and more of an interactive activity that you can kind of explore. The last one is probably the heaviest reading of the bunch. And it came out of an entire journal that was dedicated to kind of what it means to be a citizen. I found this article fascinating in terms of thinking about what our responsibilities are as citizens. Because I don't know that we always think about that, right? Like we come out of the free speech, unit and think, okay, but we have all these rights and we have all these givens, but what are we actually responsible for as citizens in the U.S.? And so this article kind of talks about that a little bit. And when I first read it, I thought, ooh, that's really interesting to consider. So I wanted to bring it to you for that same reason. And then here's your discussion board, like musings about a reading. What do you want to read? Talk about it. What do you think about it? And then again, just choose one, write a response, feel free. Oh, this one you do need to have a peer reply. Sorry. Note that these are longer posts, and the reason for that is because I want you to really kind of think about these ideas, right? And not just write a cursory post as in, oh, this was an interesting article, but really think about what they're trying to say. I think of all of the discussion boards where I'm asking you to reflect on these readings. I think of them kind of like your essay pre-writing, even though you're not really doing anything for your essay yet, but you're thinking about the ideas. And my hope is that as you are thinking about these ideas and reading what other people have written, then you're going to start to generate some thoughts of your own about how you might approach essay number 3. Okay, that's the goal. There's your reminder for your peer reply. And then your second post of the week is the essay progress. Like, how are you doing on the essay? What are you thinking about it? Have you met with me yet? Essay number 3 conferences begin this week. So I have openings on Wednesday. Thursday, there's no school. And Friday, I'm in a meeting all day. And so next week, the whole week will be jam-packed with conferences. So if you don't want to meet with me early, you can meet with me next week. Do keep in mind, however, that there will not be that the rough draft that you submit will not get feedback. Largely, that's an issue of timing. That rough draft would be due just around Thanksgiving. And because that's a holiday, we have 2 days off. There's no way for me to turn all of those essays back around. So that's why I'm kind of, instead of giving you actual feedback on your rough draft, why I'm providing so many conferences next week and then the week after Thanksgiving. So that's kind of the rationale behind that, if anybody was wondering. All right, but your essay progress here, and my sense is that I'll be able to give you some feedback on your essay in your discussion board here on essay progress. So you can always ask questions there also. All right, your writing territory mentor text this week is about the subordinate clause. Oh, it is not as terrifying as it sounds. It's basically kind of like starting a sentence with because, which is something that you probably learned when you were in elementary school. That creates a dependent clause. And so dependent clauses are a really nice way to put some variation in your writing. It kind of breaks away from the pattern of my dog did this, I ate this, my homework is that, the dinner was great. Like subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb sometimes gets very boring. And so flipping around your sentence pattern and putting a clause at the top of it will automatically change the flow of your writing. And ultimately, you can use that to your style and use that kind of to your own devices. So I would encourage you to kind of check out the video here. There's some readings there are some links here that explain how the subordinate clauses work, and then the mentor text will actually show you what that looks like in practice. Your task is to try at least 3 sentences in your writing territory. I want to push you towards these 3 sentences because I want you to really try it on for style. Yeah, I was going to say something else and I forgot what it was. Okay, so that is your mentor text and your task with subordinate clauses. And then your writing territory, of course, is due on Friday. And then the extra credit is is a discussion based around this TED Talk that I thought, again, was really interesting about kind of, again, thinking about kind of the responsibility of being a citizen in a democracy. Like, do we owe it to each other to find a common ground? Do we owe it to each other to compromise? Or is part of what it means to be in a democratic society the willingness and maybe the need even to kind of stay strong in our beliefs and not compromise, right? And so kind of thinking about that dynamic in this TED Talk, I thought was would make for an interesting extra credit opportunity. So that is your extra credit opportunity for the week. And then you're at the end of the week 12. Then you're done, right? Then you're almost done with essay number 3. Or sorry, not essay number 3 yet. You'll have received hopefully essay number 2 back. Got ahead of myself there. Yeah, we're just kind of plugging along. So, don't forget that you have student hours available to you. Don't forget that I am available via email and pronto, and I can't make myself any more available than I already have. So please reach out early and often. Don't struggle. If you know that you need help, don't wait until 11:59 p.m. on the night that an essay is due. Let me know how I can help you, because I'm here to help. I'm here to be your advocate, and I'm here to help support you. So with that said, I hope you have a great week. Maybe I'll see you in a conference. And if I don't, I hope you have a good day off on Thursday. Okay, take care.